after the job in the city.
Death is not a problem for me. I don't really mind leaving.
When I started going to visit her because I thought, I need to put this time in here into our friendship so that she knows that we haven't forgotten her.
Tina Turner, the legendary queen of rock and roll, was more than just a music icon. She was a survivor, a trailblazer, and a voice of resilience that inspired generations. From her electrifying performances to her tumultuous personal life and triumphant rebirth, Turner's story is one of triumph over adversity. When she passed away on May 24th, 2023, at the age of 83, the world mourned not just the loss of a superstar, but of a woman who had defied the odds time and time again. And in her final days, Tina Turner's last words were a reflection of a life fully lived, filled with love, gratitude, and a quiet acceptance of what was to come. For years leading up to her passing, Turner had been open about her declining health. After suffering a stroke in 2013, battling kidney failure that required a transplant in 2017, and dealing with the long-term effects of hypertension, her body had been through more than most could endure. She admitted in an emotional documentary, Tina, 2021, that she was at peace with her journey, saying, "I have had a wonderful life. I don't regret anything." But it wasn't just the physical toll that had prepared her for the inevitable, it was her mindset. After decades of struggles, heartbreak, and reinvention, Tina Turner was finally at peace.
Yeah, this is mine. Only, I don't curve you now.
In her final days, Turner reportedly surrounded herself with the people who mattered most: her beloved husband, Irvin Bach, and a few close friends and family members. Living in her Swiss estate, far from the public eye, she spent her last moments in a place of tranquility. She had left behind the chaos of fame long ago, choosing instead to live in quiet luxury by the shores of Lake Zurich, where she found the happiness she had always longed for. Her final words, according to those close to her, were a reflection of her journey, a simple yet profound statement: "I am not afraid." After a lifetime of fighting for love, fighting for freedom, fighting for her health, Tina Turner was finally ready to let go. She was at peace with her life, her legacy, and her impending departure from this world. Her husband, Irvin Bach, who had been by her side for over 3 decades, was said to be the one holding her hand in her final moments. Their love story was one of the greatest in rock history. After the abuse she endured in her first marriage to Ike Turner, Irvin had shown her what true love looked like. He had given her his kidney when she needed it most, and he had devoted his life to making sure she was happy. In her final hours, it was he who reassured her that she was loved and that her legacy would never be forgotten. Before her passing, Turner had left behind one last message to her fans, one that encapsulated her spirit and wisdom. She once said, "My greatest beauty secret is being happy with myself. I don't use special creams or treatments. I'll use a little bit of everything. It's a mistake to think you are what you put on yourself. I believe that much of how you look comes from how you feel about yourself and your life. Happiness is the greatest beauty." Even as she faced the end, she radiated that same wisdom, reminding the world that true beauty and strength come from within. Perhaps the most heartbreaking part of her final years was the loss of her 2 sons, Craig, who died by suicide in 2018, and Ronnie, who passed away in 2022 from cancer complications. Tina Turner had often spoken about the pain of losing Craig, calling it her saddest moment as a mother. And yet, even in grief, she found a way to keep moving forward. She found solace in the love she had built around her, knowing that she had given her all to the people who mattered most. In the days following her passing, tributes poured in from every corner of the world. From fellow musicians to political figures and longtime fans, the world celebrated Tina Turner not just for her music, but for her indomitable spirit. Beyoncé, one of her biggest admirers, called her the epitome of power and passion. Oprah Winfrey, one of her closest friends, spoke about how Turner had taught her the meaning of resilience and reinvention. And even President Joe Biden acknowledged her influence, calling her an icon who changed music forever. But perhaps the most powerful tribute came from the millions of fans who had drawn strength from her music and her story. Tina Turner was not just a singer. She was a symbol of what it meant to rise from the ashes, to reclaim one's power, and to live life unapologetically. And in her final words, I am not afraid. She left the world with one last lesson. A lesson in courage. A lesson in peace. A lesson in knowing that after all the struggles, all the pain, and all the triumphs, there comes a time when we can simply let go with grace. Tina Turner's legacy will never fade. Her music, her strength, and her spirit will live on forever, inspiring generations to come.